Welcome back to the Ball Does Lie podcast. I'm your host, Amir Motameni, joined by Brendan Ryder. How are you doing today, Brendan?
Doing good, Amir. Ready to get into episode 2. We got a bunch of topics today to get through, so let's get into it.
For sure. So this is episode 2 of KTI, Kill the Interaction. And so we did our first episode last week. We posted that on the channel. We're actually changing up the format a little bit this week. So I wanted to explain how the format's going to work. So we are going to draw topics out of our buckets. So think of the show Kill Tony. If you guys are comedy fans, how they draw names out of a bucket, they come up on stage, they do some stand up. We have pre selected topics. So I wrote down a bunch of topics. Whatever I pick, Brendan has 2 minutes to talk about that subject. So Brandon has no clue what I picked. This is going to be totally off the cuff. Brandon also has a bowl or a bucket. He has some topics that he's going to choose. Whatever he selects, I have 2 minutes to talk about. And so at the end of the 2 minutes, you're going to hear an explosion sound, just like last week, but we didn't give you any context. So that means the 2 minutes are done and you have to stop talking and we move on to the next subject. So I'm going to do 4 bucket pulls. Brandon's going to do 4 bucket pulls. So we're going to have 8 topics that we're going to talk about each and every single week. And hopefully in the future, we can get maybe some fans. We can maybe do some live episodes. These are pre recorded, but maybe we can do live episodes. And in the chat, we can invite some folks up. We'll pull some topics out of a bucket and then read those to you guys or have special guests. So, anyway, Brendan, I'm going to do the honors and I'm
Please
going to pull
do.
out the ticket. Make sure you got the timer
Yes, sir. And
ready.
gotta reiterate, we have not seen any of these topics that we each wrote. These are all going to be off the cuff. I'm
Okay, so
ready.
here we go. I got my question. This is for you. And it says, you don't need to read it. I'll read it to you. Can anyone beat the OKC Thunder this year? Truly, can anybody beat them? They are 14, 15 and 1. Their second best player, Jalen Williams, hasn't even played yet. Like they look unstoppable. What are your thoughts?
The Thunder are an absolute juggernaut already and positioned to just get better as the years go on. And this season in particular, I think it's a two-horse race in the entire NBA, with both teams being in the Western Conference. I think we're headed straight towards a Thunder Nuggets Western Conference Finals, and I do think Jokic and the Nuggets are about the only team that can even really put up a fight against the Thunder. We saw last year with not quite as good of a roster on the Nuggets side. They still took the Thunder to 7 games and really could have won that game 7. Jokic is just such an unbelievable player and just so good and makes every right basketball decision. He's, I think, the only chance the league has at stopping OKC right now. I think we're at the very beginning of a decade-long dynasty with OKC. Now we'll see how everything works out with these years to come, but this year specifically, I mean, the Thunder right now are 11-1. Excuse me, 11-1 in their conference, 15-1 overall. Show no signs of weaknesses, and they still have 2, 3 guys that they're looking to get back. And J-Dub hasn't played a game yet, and they still look incredible. Wiggins is out. He's been an integral part of that roster, and it just seems like every guy they pick up, every guy Presti seems to tap, is just the perfect type of player and the perfect fit in their system. And you can tell they really emphasize character, they emphasize length, they emphasize intensity, and when you have a guy as good as Shea Gildress Alexander as your superstar player, you know offensively you're going to be carried every night. And we haven't even gotten to guys like Caruso that you're bringing off the bench, and it's funny. I almost feel like there needs to be more minutes for Caruso, but that roster is so deep, it's almost hard to find time for him. But he's such a winning player, and it's just an embarrassment of riches for the Thunder. And I really don't see anybody stopping them. The only team that comes close is gonna be Denver. And we'll see. The Rockets, I think, still have a bit of a chance. I don't see any just coming close. But I think it's really going to be the Nuggets, and then we'll see how the Rockets kind of shape up here as the season continues.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think the Nuggets are probably the only team that has a real shot. I don't think anybody in the East has a shot against them. I'm barring any major injuries to them. it's going to be rough. But
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
let's see.
they're scary. They're
Yeah,
just gonna keep getting better.
that's
Um,
unreal.
yeah.
All right, do you want to pull something out of the
Yeah,
bucket?
let's see what we got for you. All right, Amir, here we go.
See if I can see it when you put it up to the screen.
Hold on, I don't like that one. I don't like that one. Let's pull a better one. Okay, this kind of relates to the topic we just talked about. But how real are the Houston Rockets? Sorry for my chicken scratch handwriting. But can the Rockets really compete in the West? I know we just kind of loosely covered that, but they look good here to start the year. We're 1 month in. Are they for real?
Um, I think they're for the. I mean, I think they're real. Like they had their like growing pains last season, not having a go-to scorer. They were dealing with Jalen Green, who actually looked pretty good for the Suns before he got re-injured with that hamstring issue. But trading Jalen Green essentially for Kevin Durant, someone who's still, even though he's 37, averaging 23, 25 points per game, like is something they desperately needed. The biggest issue is not having the point guard. Like losing Fred Van Vliet was really a huge blow for them. But even so, they're still number one in points per game. They took that throne from the Miami Heat, who were the number one scoring team in the NBA for the first few weeks. They're number three now, but they're the number one scoring team. They're the number one offensive rated team, even without a point guard. And uh Finney Smith hasn't even played yet, has he yet? Like they still have like they're a deep team. Like Finney Smith hasn't played yet. I think Tari Eason is injured right now.
Injured, yep.
Like they just have all the pieces that they need right now. I mean, I think the biggest question is how big of a piece was Fred Van Fleet? We know he's an NBA champion. We know he's like clutch, big 3-point shooter in the playoffs. Would have been their floor general. I think they're real. I think they're real because one, they added KD. He's still scoring at a high clip. Amen Thompson is destined to be a star and one of the best two-way players in the NBA. Sangoon is developing into a baby Joker. Um, someone who could
Shingun's game is insane. He's expanded an outside shot now too. He's such a good player.
his
Such a good player.
passing, playmaking, his three-point ability, obviously, his post-up game, like how he abuses mismatches, his rebounding. They're a fun team. I think they're real.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on the Rockets. I think you hit it. The Fred Van Vliet question mark. Can they fill that point guard spot? I think they need a little bit more out of Reed Shepard. They were hoping to get more out of him. But like you said, they still have Dorian Finney-Smith still needs to come into this season. Tara Eason needs to get back from injury. He's been great when he's available. And defensively, they just beat you up. Man, they're just such a physical team. Steven Adams seems to grab every offensive board. So what they lack maybe in kind of smooth offense, they make up for on the boards. And they're a really impressive team, and I think they'll have something to say in the West. Again, I still think it's a 2-horse race, but the Rockets, I really think are right there,
Yeah,
maybe a
they're a
piece
huge
away. We'll
team.
see.
Their starting
Enormous,
lineup is six. The smallest guy's Amen Thompson, right? Like at 6'7". So
and just a freak athlete. So he definitely doesn't play small. That's for sure.
yeah, his brother's looking good too.
That's right. And the
All right,
Pistons look good too. All right, here we go.
let's go. hmm What do I pick? All right. Steve Kerr has said recently, not sure if you read this, the increased pace in basketball has led to more injuries, specifically soft tissue injuries. Also, the condensed schedule. I think the Warriors have played 17 games in 29 days. They just played and lost to my Miami Heat. Go Heat. But the Heat have only played 14 games. They've played 17. So, not sure if you saw this, but what are your thoughts on that? Because this is the fastest paced era since 1988-89 NBA season. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with Steve. I also think the physicality of today's game, I think, is very underrated. Especially when you talk to the old heads, they'll tell you the '90s were a much more physical period of basketball.
It
but
was.
this point has been made. Flagrant fouling isn't basketball, and I think the way the game is played today, pace and space obviously is key. So you're seeing players have to cover way more ground at a way quicker speed, but then the physicality I think has ratcheted up. Like if you were just at a bunch of games watching the Clippers, and you can just see the physicality. I mean, every play, every possession, players are banging, bumping, and throwing their bodies into one another. Pause. I'm sorry, but these players are way more physical than I think they get credit for. And then to Steve's point, now that basically as a defense, you have to cover the entire area of the floor. There's no more just letting a guard sit by a couple feet off the 3-point line. You literally have to be running everybody off the line, or at least having a body close to each offensive player, because anybody's a threat from anywhere on the court, I think, right now. So that that spacing mixed with the increase in pace and just analytics telling you just get more shots up, have more possessions, I think is clear. And the science backs this up. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but I think it's very clear that the pace and space and how the game is played today is way tougher on the body than it was back in the 90s, even early 2000s. And then I got to say, the Warriors have just been on a brutal schedule run. This has to be the toughest stretch I've seen a team have to deal with, especially so early in the season. Because basically you had from last week, the Warriors were in Oklahoma City playing the Thunder, not an easy game. Then they go to San Antonio to play Wemby on a back-to-back. So they play on the 12th and they play the 14th. So they play the Spurs in those 2 games. Then they go to New Orleans to play the Pelicans, Orlando to the Magic. Then they just played in Miami today. And they finally get to go back home Friday to play the Trailblazers for an NBA Cup game. But brutal schedule for the Warriors. And I do agree with Steve Kerr. I think it doesn't help when you pair that with how the game is played today. It's a lot more grueling on the body.
Yeah, they had their 5th back-to-back already this season in 1 month of basketball, which is insane. And like I was watching the game today, and they were talking on the broadcast that like the Warriors haven't practiced in like 4 days because like they have no time, they have no
They literally
energy.
can't. They
Yeah,
literally can't. That might have helped them out too with some of the drama that was coming out with some of the comments Jimmy was made.
for sure.
Maybe that helped them a little bit. We'll see. All right, so the next one for you, Amir, we're gonna talk a little bit about the rookies, but will Khan Knippel win Rookie of the Year? He looks incredible with the Hornets. Hornets don't look that great, but Khan is playing extremely well, and I wonder if he right now he's the Kia rookie leader. Do you think he will be the guy holding up the Rookie of the Year trophy by the end of the season?
That's a good question. Yeah, he's been on a tear lately. Um, I got to see him in the summer league. Actually, he looked really good in the summer league, but that doesn't always translate to the NBA. And my friend, shout out to my boy Digital Adele, Miami Heat content creator. He also does analysis on college players and the draft. So like he is really high on him and said that a lot of people were upset when he was drafted number 4 with the Charlotte Hornets and saying that LaMelo should demand a trade, like because they picked him over Bailey, right?
It did.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah.
I first thought, I'm like, this guy's like Mike Dunleavy. This guy's going to be like just a role player, 3-point specialist. But we're coming to learn that he is more than just a 3-point specialist. This guy can possibly become a 3-level scorer. If that's the case, he's going to be in this league for a long time, a potential all-star. He's a very good rebounder. He's a good defender. Um, I think I'm going to say yes. If he continues to play like this, obviously, like if he's going to sustain this, yes. One, because Brandon Miller seems to always get hurt himself in his early career, and so does LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball seems to miss a lot of games, a lot, and also the Hornets are horrible. So give him as much usage and time as you can. I think in this system to see what you got, to see if you can actually really blossom into a real star next to LaMelo. I'm going to say yes to make my boy Digital Adele proud. Um, I think because VJ Edgecombe was playing very good the first few weeks, and like I think he's coming down to earth a little bit. But
A
like
little bit. Yeah.
Paul George is back and Embiid's back, so it's like you have your big guns back in the lineup, right? So I think so I'm gonna say yes. Why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah. I mean, it's if you look at kind of the list of players to choose from, obviously we're just a month into the season, but Khan kind of seems like the clear favorite. With Cooper Flag getting off to a bit of a slow start in Dallas. I mean, if I'm looking at it right now, NBA.com on their Kia rookie ladder, they have Cedric Coward from the Grizzlies as number 2 right now. So
He's number two.
yeah, pretty interesting race to start the season.
Oh, Houston, are they for real? Is their offense for real? So basically, we already had that one, so we can't take that one out. Let's try another one. All
I
right,
would
we'll
say
do.
yes, by the way. That'd be my answer is yes. Any offense with Kevin Durant is real.
Can you see this?
Why are the Clippers so bad?
Why are the Clippers so bad?
That's a great question. It's been an all-out failure for the Clippers for a team that is genuinely trying to win basketball games. Um, and this is a big if, but if Kawhi is healthy, that obviously changes the entire makeup of that team. I mean, James Harden is legitimately playing like a first-team All-NBA player right now. He still has so much left in the tank, but right now the vibes in LA are terrible. I don't know if this has to do with anything that Pablo Torre's been reporting. Shout out Aspiration. And just kind of the unknown on when you're gonna have Kawhi in your lineup, and then obviously Bradley Beal just has not panned out. I think they were hoping Bradley Beal and John Collins could both. Well, Bradley Beal would replace the kind of microwave scoring you get from Norman Powell, and then John Collins would give him a little bit more of a presence inside, a little more rim protection, a little bit more rim running, and John Collins is good. I think he's playing okay. I think they were still expecting maybe a little bit more out of him. But getting basically zero out of Bradley Beal before he was out for the year with his hip injury, it's not like he was really playing that well pre-hip injury, I think has been spelling out kind of the demise of their season. And that was the writing on the wall. I think they probably underestimated how much of an efficient scorer Norman Powell really is and how much of a microwave he was for that offense, because they are just completely Harden dependent on every possession. If Harden isn't creating either an easy alley-oop dunk for a Zubats or an easy wide open driving kick 3, their offense is just stuck in mud. But I will say if Kawhi's in that lineup, they'll have somewhat of a chance, but it's looking pretty wicked right now in LA for the Clippers. And, who knows what comes next out of the league with everything involving inspiration. But it's been a super disappointing first month of the year for the Clippers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, on paper, an older team, kind of like the Warriors, but not as old. But Kawhi is just always injured. It's always something with his knee. That's huge, obviously, but there's still no excuse for them to be 4-11 because they still have other pieces they've added. Like Brook Lopez is obviously old. Shout out to Brook Lopez, another Fresno native that I need to root for. But like he's still a good rim protector and someone who could spread the floor. And like you have John Collins, who's obviously ahead of him in the rotation, who's younger, and he's also someone that's in the front court that they desperately needed, which was size, some athleticism. He gives you that. He gives you the ability to spread the floor a little bit. But like adding pieces like Bradley Beal, Collins, Brook Lopez, even CP3, who's obviously very old, like he's been out with like, he looks washed now at this
He's
point.
just been getting straight DMPs, coaches' decisions at this point. I
He's too
grew up
old.
loving Chris Paul, but I think his time's done.
His time is done.
Unfortunately,
Bradley Beal's done. Like luckily they got him through the buyout because otherwise he was going to be making like 50 million. One of the worst contracts.
worst contracts of all time.
Maybe not, but maybe not. But
It's
yeah, I mean,
close. It's definitely in the discussion. It's on the short list.
well, in our last episode we talked about a specific team and can they keep it up? And that was the Sixers, and they have probably two of the worst contracts in the
That's
NBA
true.
now on the same team with
Now,
Embiid and Paul George. But it's in that caliber. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. I'm shocked to see them 4-10, 4-11, wherever they are. Like I'm surprised like they're not maybe like 2 games below 500, right? Like without Kawhi, with the injuries, with all that, like with the offense sputtering and the defense not playing as great, and Zubac not looking as good as he did last year. Like it's insane to me that
It's
they've fallen
insane.
off this much. It can't be just the Bradley Beal piece, like, and
No,
Kawhi
no.
missing some games. Like it is Norman Powell though, because now he's on my team. So thank you for adding him. That was a huge gain for us and a huge loss for the
Yeah.
Clippers.
But to go from a very disappointing game 7 last year against the Nuggets, basically Russell Westbrook kind of sending them home, which as a Russ fan, I loved watching, but as an NBA fan, I'm also thinking that isn't a great look. And then they come into this year with at least some goals of, maybe making the playoffs, getting in the plan, and they're just, yeah, they're looking sad right now. All right, we're gonna stay in LA here, Amir. We'll stay in Los Angeles. So
Perfect.
LeBron made his debut against the Jazz the other night. The Lakers looked okay. Took a little while to get into it, but where do you see the Lakers finishing in the Western Conference this year? Do you see them in the top 4, maybe competing with the Rockets, the Nuggets, and the Thunder? Or do you see them more battling it out with the Timberwolves? I'm sorry, that was a little disrespectful with the T-Wolves, but do you see them battling out with kind of the bottom half of the playoff teams in the West?
Um, I see them like between the 4 and 6 range. I would say, um, maybe 3 at best, possibly, um, depending on health. Because you have Luka Doncic. We talked about that. The most rigged, worst trade in NBA history. They got Luka. The fact that Reeves is playing out of his freaking mind, and that guy's still on the team and not on the Mavs, which just shows how rigged it is. And only one draft pick was traded. They still have 2 picks. I believe they're tradable in the future, or maybe even 1 pick. The fact that they have any future first round picks that are available is insane, right? Especially because they have Reeves on their team. But I don't think Reeves is going to sustain the level that he's been at right now. But like, he's got to fall back down to earth eventually. The sample size is getting bigger, which is impressive. It's been 15 games or whatever it's been for them. But now that LeBron's coming back, that usage, and the ball in his hands, that's going to go down. So I see them, yeah, like I think realistically 4 to 6 again, because Luka is playing like a top 3, 5 player in the NBA. You get LeBron back. The guy is almost 41 years old. Like in December, he's going to be 41. This could be his last year. Next year could be his last year. Um, he's still a top 30 type player in the league, would you say?
LeBron, I think, is top 20 to 15. Again, I'm
Still, I think
biased. I still think he is. I think he's that impactful based on his production from last year. Still incredibly efficient. Still
yeah,
can score from
defense
anywhere, and
defense
just
is falling
and
off
just
a cliff.
it does. But when it matters, LeBron is engaged and locked in defensively and gets it done. Obviously, he's going to pick his spots a little bit more than when he was younger. He's 41 years old, has sciatica, but I think he's still an incredibly impactful
I'm just
player.
being conservative, being that he's older, that he's also just injured now. He's starting to like show some of those chinks in his armor. Like the last 5 years, you've seen him miss more games, not full seasons because he's almost indestructible, but you've seen him miss more games in a Laker uniform than he ever did with the Heat or the Cavs at all, like in any stint. So um, they're real because they have Luca. Like Luca's just
Exactly.
that good, and if Anthony or if Austin Reeves is really ascending into that third option, like he's not going to average 30 points per game, but like if he becomes that third reliable elite scorer, they have some good pieces, man. They have good players with Rui, and they have Aiton and other guys that can be better now that LeBron's on the floor as well, right? They can't just focus
Yeah.
solely on Luca. And you could throw 3 guys at Luca, and he's still one of the best passers in the league, and he'll find his teammates and punish you for it, right? So now you add
Totally.
that IQ of LeBron on there, and that floor vision, and that other scorer, and that rebounder, like it just makes them a lot better. So
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Rui too. Rui has been such a great piece for them. When they gave up Dorian Finney-Smith in the offseason, I gave up but didn't re-sign him. I thought that was going to hurt them a bunch. But Rui has just been incredible. I think he's
for sure.
shooting 40-some% from three-point range, shooting 52% from the floor, highly efficient, giving them a lot of good stuff defensively. I think Rui's been huge for the Lakers, and interested to keep kind of monitoring his production as the season goes on, especially with LeBron back now. So the lineup's going to shift around a bunch, but I think JJ is going to want to keep Rui in that 28 to 30 minute type of tick for him, I would imagine.
For sure. This is my last question for you.
Last one, and I got my last one to you.
All righty. Oh, this one's a fun one. Who's a better trade target if any of these guys get traded this season? Ja, Trey, or LaMelo?
Oh man,
That's a good question.
three very unique point guards. Three guys I all honestly really like if they're at full strength. I think the best trade asset currently obviously depends what type of team you currently have. I think out of those three right now, I would say Trae Young. As much as I love a guy like LaMelo and how young he is, I think his injury history is a little concerning. With Ja, I honestly don't know what's happened. We spoke about it on our last episode last week. His game has seemed to just fallen off a cliff. He's not engaged, doesn't want to be in Memphis. Million different factors for why he's not performing up to his potential. But Trae is somebody, I know the Hawks are playing pretty well without him right now, but Trae is also someone that can be a complete offensive engine for any team. I think his playmaking is insane. He's the type of guy you can just run 100 pick and rolls with him, and his per 100 is just going to be through the roof. Highly efficient, and I think his gravity too. I think something the Hawks want to do more with him is have him play more off ball and not be so dependent on the ball, because similar to how Steph plays, Trae can have very similar gravity, and he can open up so many different things for guys like Jalen Johnson and the rest of that roster. So if I'm looking to trade for one of those point guards, I think Trae is, I think, the most intriguing defensively. Obviously, you're going to have to find ways to hide him because he is a bit of a sieve, but his offensive production, I think, just outweighs it. You are going to score points with Trae Young on your team, and other players are going to get incredible looks playing with Trae Young. And if you have any type of athletic rim running big, you have a viable center. And yeah, I think Trae is the answer here. You know, we'll see as LaMelo gets healthy. I really love watching LaMelo Ball play. I wish he could adopt a little bit more of his brother's mentality. If he could just take some of Lonzo's winning ways of playing basketball and just inject it into his game, I probably would go LaMelo just because he's such a unique talent and
Probably.
just so good.
Not probably,
I mean, I
definitively.
would. Yeah, I definitely would. But as it stands right now, I would still say Trae. I think Trae is an incredibly good player, and someone that, as a defensive, any team defensively, they're gonna have to just key on Trae. You have to have an entire game plan for him, and he's proven he could do it in the playoffs too. Took the Hawks to a conference finals. That's not nothing. Basically broke Ben Simmons' brain as well. So that has to mean something here.
Possibly. I also stopped looking at my stopwatch, so
I got a little bit more
timer up,
time.
or the timer above. So yeah, you got a little extra 20 seconds there before the explosion. So
All right, this was a good last one for you as a Miami Heat guy. So the Heat have been looking pretty good over their last 10 games. They just beat an exhausted, bit depleted Warriors team. But as the Miami insider, Amir, what has really stood out to you about the Heat? What has you excited about this current roster, this current team?
what stood out is the Miami Heat have won 9 games out of 15, I believe, without Tyler Hero stepping on the court, with Bam Adebayo missing 6 games this season, with Norman Powell missing 3 games this year. So their top 3 guys have already missed games. That's not unique. Obviously, a lot of other teams have had players out, but still, Tyler Hero was our best player last year, especially on the offensive end. He was our only All-Star. He hasn't even played yet. Like, the only other person I can think of, and obviously I'm not going to compare the two or put them on the same, they're not the same caliber type player. LeBron just made his debut, right? And came back. And like Tyler Hero's not LeBron or that player, but he's important to this Miami Heat team. So I think it's impressive that we've stayed afloat, and he's going to be out for another week or so. Um, but the biggest thing is their scoring. They went from a bottom 3 scoring team last season, and pretty much for the last 5 years, they've been bottom 5 in points per game. They averaged 110 last year a game. Half the year with Jimmy Butler playing in that half court, pick and roll, slow pace type of basketball system. And even without him, injected some youth into the lineup and got a little bit younger, still couldn't score in the half court. And now they're the third highest scoring team in the league, averaging 124 point something points per game, which is insane. They're scoring 14 more points per game. That's 7 basically made more field goals this season. Like, their pace, their space, their philosophy of like moving off ball, everybody gets an opportunity, has been huge. And they're just playing this free flow type of offense and not spamming the pick and roll with Bam and Adebayo, and not spamming the DHO. And they're just getting up quick but efficient and effective shots like early in the shot clock, which is crazy. Like, it's been so fun to watch. And I think injecting Tyler Hero into that is going to make it even better. We're missing a 24 point per game scorer, someone who's 25 who likes to play fast and who's a 3-level scorer that hasn't even played yet. So like, I'm excited to see what does Norman Tyler Hero look like as a backcourt, because they're both elite 3-point shooters on high depth. So I'm shocked at how good their offense has been, because they're predominantly known as a defensive minded organization. So
Yeah, this new offense that the Heat have been adopting, we'll see if it takes hold kind of through the league, because this is a copycat league. It's been nothing but high pick and rolls basically since the start of high pick and rolls. So it's always been just the best, most efficient way to run offense. But the way the Heat move off ball, like you said, the free flowing nature of the offense, it just enables so much more creative scoring, I think, for everybody. Jaime Jaquez seems to be a direct beneficiary of all of this. So seeing how Hero comes back and integrates into this is going to be so interesting. And you hit the nail on the head for me. I can't wait to see how Norman and Hero play together. Just two absolute scorers that just fill it up and can score. Each of them can just score 10 points in a minute, no problem. But the East is looking so interesting to me right now, especially with it's wide open. The Pistons just keep winning. They look so good. The Knicks are finding their stride. The Heat are just right there. I think every team in the East doesn't want to play the Heat. The Heat just seem to always be a team that gives everybody issues, with their Heat culture and the way they approach the game. Very interested to see how the East shakes out, because I'm not going to lie, the West just seems like, all right, all roads go through Oklahoma City. So at least we have a little bit more parity in the Eastern Conference.
Yep, and whoever wins the East is not going to win the championship anyway. So, in my opinion,
I would share that same opinion with you, but you never know. I mean, the Pacers were right there. They were right there. It took them to 7 games, and if Hallie doesn't rupture his Achilles, who the hell knows what happens in that game? Because he was a flamethrower in that first quarter.
that was wild. That's another topic we need to talk about, because people were like talking about his ascension, like with the Pacers, like 2-3 seasons ago. Like, this guy's like going to be a superstar. Like, obviously, he was playing at an all-star level 2 seasons ago, and then I think or it was 3 seasons ago, and then 2 seasons ago, kind of came back down to earth a little bit, and folks were just like saying this guy's overrated. And then after last season, like how clutch he became in the playoffs, each and every single round, it seemed like he just hit a buzzer beater, carried the team. Obviously had Pascal Siakam, and his obviously had some good depth around him with Niemhart, and what's the other guy's name? The other guy's name with the end?
We have Nemhart and God, why am I
Nemhart
blanking now?
and not Naismith, is it? No.
Yeah, Neesmith, Aaron
Neesmith.
Neesmith.
Yeah. Like having those pieces around him obviously helped, but like he was so freaking clutch in the playoffs last year, man. Like so unfortunate that he ruptured his Achilles because again, people thought he was overrated. People thought he was overrated 2 seasons ago, and then he shut that down immediately. I think by playing when it matters the most, like playoffs
Well,
tell, as Pat Riley would say, and that's when real contracts, like it shows who are the real max superstar type players. They get paid for hopefully what they're going to do in the playoffs or what they've done in the playoffs.
yeah, I think a key indicator for why he's not overrated is the Kings decided to move off of him. I think that's just a key indicator that
Yeah,
a guy's going to be nice. And let me tell you, I was livid when I heard we traded Tyrese Halliburton. Absolutely brutal. But yeah, I hope he comes back next season just as good as he was last year. Um, yeah, the league misses him. I love the way he plays too. I think he's the type of guy you love to play with. Someone who's gonna push pace, push the ball up to you, always looking to include his teammates and get his guys involved in whatever offensive game plan they have going on. And like you said, just makes every clutch play you need him to make. Um, yeah, yeah. Bummed to see Holly out. That's for sure.
for sure. All right, so I think that wraps up our second episode of KTI. So let us know in the comment section what your guys' thoughts are on this new format. Do you guys like the bucket polls? Like, would you guys be interested in joining us potentially, like in the future? Let us know your thoughts. Like, are there any topics you want us to go over? Perhaps let us know in the comment section as well. But yeah, thank you for hopping on, Brendan. Really appreciate the time, and make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more NBA content. Have a good night.